In the hospital emergency room, the doctor was announcing that the patient is having trouble breathing, and asked for a ventilator. This is Jean Leshan and he is a mechanical engineer. Due to overworking, he suffered a stroke and now is about to die. Soon after his birth, his parents died in a car accident, and he became an orphan. After graduating, he spent 20 years in a company, working a nightmarish job for a small salary. He was single his entire life and never experienced a woman's touch. The doctors tried their best to keep him alive, but he had already gave up, as there is no reason to live such a life. Seeing him go, the doctors were trying to resuscitate him, but their patient was embracing his end. In another place, and another time, a man woke up from what felt like a long sleep. He was wondering if this is a hospital room, but it looked too luxurious. Then, something appeared in front of him. It was a message welcoming him to the magical continent of Eldora. He was confused about what was going on. His head was also hurting quite a lot. Then he noticed something that he couldn't believe. His reflection in the mirror looked nothing like him. A week later, the man was sitting in his office, when a woman entered the room. She announced her master that the tea is ready. The blonde man thanked Leah. After a week, he understood his new position. After his death, the protagonist became this man, Rain Edgar. He is the third child of the Grand Duke Aldarian Edgar. He has a brother and a sister. When he was a child, because he was the youngest, he was always the center of the attention. His brother and sister would always buy him expensive stuff and take good care of him. His mother was also spoiling him every time she had the chance. Being the youngest one in the family, he ended up being adored by everyone. The protagonist was thinking that this amazing life might be his compensation for the terrible past life. This continent is called Eldria, and magic is a common occurrence. The Caradorial Empire is the largest human empire on this continent. There are also other races in this world, like elves and dwarves. The Edgar family is a noble family with a territory of about 300,000 square kilometers and roughly 1 million subjects. As a noble, Rain has everything he wants, as well as a personal maid. He was thinking that having such a happy life is the result of hard work in his previous life. The maid announced her master that the Lord has something to discuss with him, and she will escort him there. A butler announced the Duke that his son has arrived as requested. The father informed the butler that his son may enter. The protagonist entered the office and formally announced his arrival. Aldarian asked his son if he knows why he called him here. Rain answered that no, he doesn't know. Aldarian continued saying that as his son reached the age to manage his own territory, has he decided where he'd like to go. Rain was surprised to hear that he will get his own territory. The father said that it's normal for the son of a duke to inherit land. The duke then said that the territory that his son will take over is in the northwest. While it's relatively safe, due to the shortage of magicians, the issue of food production has been difficult to resolve. Although their land is currently safe, the future of the Caradorial Empire is not so optimistic. Rain was thinking that what his father said is true. The royal family of the Caradorial family is in decline and political corruption is rampant. Multiple nobles across the entire empire are in open and covert conflicts. In this world, the protagonist received care and lots of love, so he will not lose the people who offered him this amazing life. The father, thinking that he put too much pressure on his son, said that he shouldn't feel so pressured, he has his family to help him. Rain then asked if the safety of the territory will improve if the food problem is resolved. The Duke answered that food issues cannot be solved with enthusiasm alone, while thinking that his son is still a child, for thinking that issues can be easily solved. The protagonist was thinking that his enthusiasm is fueled by the wisdom of centuries of human industrial revolution. He then confidently said that he will take care of the food issue. Ashling City is the westernmost land of the Grand Duke Aldarian's territory, bordering the enemy, Soren Grand Duke's land to the north. To the west it borders the elves, and to the south is the vast ocean. Due to the fact that it's located at the intersection of three nations, Ashling City is often engulfed in war. Frequent warfare has transformed the once fertile land into a barren landscape, with a dwindling population. The protagonist was traveling together with his personal maid. He was thinking that in order to start an industrial revolution, he needs a sufficient labor force. So, he needs to find a way to increase the population. But there is an unexpected thing: he gains some kind of skill. There was a mission to scan people. With this ability, Rain can see the stats of the people that he scans. He tested this skill on his family, and managed to gain a rough understanding of the people in this world. His first mission, after arriving in the territory, is to recruit talented individuals. Leah remembered a prior discussion she had with the Duke. He asked her to keep an eye on the young master and make sure that he doesn't cause any trouble. She was praying that nothing bad will happen with the protagonist. In Ashling City Lord's mansion, a noble was saying that he heard about the youngest son of the Duke arriving in the city today, and asked if they should act first. There is a rumor that the youngest is spoiled by the Grand Duke Aldarian, but also his brother and sister adore him. A mysterious man said that they should abstain from taking any action and wait for their master's orders. The noble then asked what would happen if the young lord discovers his financial and tax fraud. The mysterious man answered that a spoiled brat like Rain Edgar wouldn't understand tax and financial records. He can always give him some random financial records to confuse him. The young master will probably arrive soon, and the mysterious man suggested to the noble to go meet him. He was thinking that it's time for Aldarian to pay for his crimes. Rain arrived in an unspecified area of the territory. He was thinking that it's as expected. Due to the lack of population, the once cultivable land became desolate. He then asked Leah to show him the map of the area. He was thinking that if he could dredge the river to the west and build a canal connecting it to the southern seaport. He then heard a girl begging her father to stop gambling. The woman was on her knees begging. She was saying that the money are for her mother's treatment. The man was saying to just give him the money because he has to win this time. She should just give him the money because he will win this time. She kept saying no, because they need to buy medicine for the mother. The man then said that if she doesn't give him the money, he will just beat her up. At that moment, the protagonist intervened and punched the man. He couldn't just stand and watch. He then realized that his hand hurts, as he never punched anyone before. Leah said that the young lord should announce her if he is planning to beat anyone in the future, so she can prepare his protective gear. Rain answered that it was an impulsive act. He then told his maid to check on the girl's condition, while he will have a talk with the scum. The protagonist said that using his family's money for gambling and even threatening to hit his own daughter is really bad, then asked if the man is insane. The man asked who is he to tell him that. Rain answered that it's not important who is he, but if he finds out that he went again to the casino to gamble, then he will have someone chop his head off. The man ran away saying that he will never gamble again. The young lord then asked the girl if she is okay, while thinking that he should check her physical condition with his skill. The girl thanked the protagonist for coming to her help. If the money for her mother's treatment would have been taken, she wouldn't have known what to do. Rain checked her status and noticed that her stats aren't too high, but she has a divine body for agriculture. He needs to recruit her, as she is essential for future farming. He then told her that she can join them in his carriage, if she is going to town to buy medicine for her mother. The girl answered that she is dirty and doesn't want to soil the carriage. He said that it's just a couple of planks put together to form a means of transport. There is nothing to get dirty. Plus, he has some questions. How does it happen that there is a casino in such a poor area? Last fall, the Grand Duke of the enemy country, Sorin, attacked the town and many soldiers died. In the spring there was a great flood that destroyed much of the land and the crops. The lives of the citizens became hellish, even procuring a meal became troublesome. The protagonist was thinking that he needs to run a census so he can find out how much of the population is able to join the workforce. But the first step is to go to the city lord's estate and see how much cash is available to use as development funds. He then asked the girl, Lillian, if she knows where the lord's estate is. She wanted to answer, but at the same time, a man riding on a horse was screaming at everyone to get out of his way, calling them peasants. He was speeding through the crowd of people. Leah pushed her master out of the way so he doesn't get hit by the speeding rider. They barely managed to avoid getting hit. Leah was angry at the rider and forgot that she was squeezing Rain, who was struggling to breathe. She then asked him if he is hurt, or if he is feeling pain anywhere. He answered that thanks to her, he is alright. The protagonist asked Lillian if she knows who was that man. She answered that he is the young master of the Eldrin family. And all the casinos in Ashling City belong to his family. He said that if all the casinos are owned by them, then they must be rich, and she answered that yes. Rain was satisfied to hear that now he found his development funds. He then asked Lillian to take them to the casino. But she protested to the idea, because they will get scammed out of all their money. But the protagonist said that they cannot beat him. Lillian was wondering how powerful is this young noble. Sometime later, Rain arrived at one of the casinos in Ashling City. He was thinking that his industrialization plans will destroy the casinos. Upon entering, they were able to see people begging for money, people winning and others losing. The protagonist was thinking that as long as casinos exist, people will not work properly. Leah announced him that the soldiers surrounded the casino and asked if he wants them to take action now. But he said that they should wait for the big fish to appear first. A host asked Rain if is there a game that he wants to play. He answered that he doesn't know any games and asked if there is something easy to play. The host answered that of course and offered to lead him to a table. The croupier was telling the people to place their bets, and the host offered the protagonist 2 free chips from the house to try his luck. Rain placed his bet on the chance that the winning number will be small. The host and the croupier looked at each other, like they had a previous understanding. Then, the croupier called the value of the dice, 466, which is large. The host said that it's a shame, the protagonist almost won. He then said that this game is no fun, and wanted to leave saying that he is hungry and wants to eat. The host stopped the protagonist from leaving and said that he cannot leave without paying the money that he owes them. Rain asked when did he owe them any money and the host said that he borrowed those 2 chips. The protagonist stated that those 2 chips were on the house. The host said that nothing is free, and to not joke like that again. Also, each chip is worth 100 gold, plus the service fee and interest, he owes 250 gold. Then said to bring all the money today, and leave the maid here as collateral. Lillian then said that he should cut the crap and stop lying. She then added that each chip is worth 1 silver, and that the young master shouldn't believe him because he's lying. The host then screamed at her that she has no right to ruin his plans, and called for someone to beat her. But the one to get a beating was him. He got punched and was sent flying into a table, making all the chips go flying. The protagonist stated that nobody allowed him to talk. The people inside the casino rushed to grab as many chips as they could. Seeing them, Rain was thinking that they are pathetic and hopeless. Then, the young master of the Eldrin family arrived, asking who dares to make a mess in his casino. The protagonist was thinking that the big fish has finally arrived. Seeing them steal the chips that fell on the ground, the young man asked his subordinates to beat some sense into the thieves and make an example out of them. The people that stole the chips tried to say that they won't steal again, but they were still beat up. That put fear inside the rest of the people. He then announced that this is what happens to everyone that doesn't behave. Lillian was thinking that it's her fault. If she wouldn't have brought them at the casino, they wouldn't have gotten scammed. She then remembered when the protagonist paid for the treatment of her mother, and decided that she has to protect her savior. Lillian stepped forward and declared that she won't allow anyone to scam Rain. Everyone was thinking that the girl is done, because everyone who annoyed Viserlo Eldrin had a tragic ending. The man asked Lillian if she has something to tell him. So she said that his casino scammed everyone and destroyed countless families. She cannot allow him to also bully her saviors. Viserlo then tried to attack the girl, and she knew that this won't end well for her. But nothing happened. Rain stopped Viserlo from hurting Lillian. The protagonist checked his opponent's status and noticed that his traits are bad, and also that his loyalty is very low. This Eldrin family might start a revolt if he is not careful. Viserlo asked if he is also not agreeing with the ways he is doing things. And Rain said that he agrees with his ways. After all, only the strong can survive in this world. Viserlo then said that if he knows this, then why is he going against him? Doesn't he know who is he? The protagonist answered that he doesn't need to know who the young man is, he only needs to say one thing. Then clapped his hands and a lot of soldiers rushed inside the casino. Rain continued saying that he wins the fight, and his words are the law. Sometime later, the nobles and the merchants got together for a banquet with the young lord. Someone was saying that he hopes that his daughter will conquer Rain's heart, while others were talking about how much money they are making. Adrian Eldrin was thinking that everyone in here just wants to profit out of the young lord. He then remembered when he told the town lord to scare Rain a bit. A woman then came and raised a toast with Adrian. He was wondering where his son went to. If he was here, then he would have been able to build a friendship with the son of the Grand Duke, so he can benefit out of it. After all, he cannot trust the town's lord too much. Someone announced the arrival of Rain Edgar. Some nobles and merchants went ahead and offered gifts while presenting themselves, as well as presenting their daughters, but the protagonist ignored them and proposed to start his presentation. The people were surprised of what they were seeing. Some were thinking that those are the plans for a house. Rain then said that these are the plans for the dam he wants to build. The people didn't know what is a dam and were speculating that it's used to catch fish. Rain continued saying that he will explain everything, then asked Leah for a map. He said that he looked at the geographical location of Ashling and there is a flood every year due to the river just north of the city. If they build a dam, then they can stop the flooding during the rainy season and water their crops during the droughts. Adrian was thinking that this is a really smart idea. It will definitely improve the crop production in Ashling. Looks like this man's brain actually works. A noble asked Rain what does this have to do with them, and he answered that he needs money to construct it. The nobles and the merchants said that they are poor and cannot afford to fund it. Adrian was thinking that the protagonist is smart but naive. There is no way that these vampires will fund his project. Rain stated that he doesn't want to hear that, but he has a way to make money. He raided a casino and made 50,000 gold coins, then asked everyone if they know how many casinos are in the city. That statement made the people worry because they invested in some of the casinos, and they will not get their share of the profits. They then remembered that all the casinos are ran by Adrian Eldrin, so the young master will run into trouble. Adrian was thinking that he wouldn't have done anything bad to Rain if he would have behaved, but now, because he picked a fight, he will destroy him. He then said that his actions break the rules of the Caradorial nation. Everyone supported Adrian, and they started to say that raiding the casinos breaks the rules and the casinos are legal, so he has no right to raid them. Adrian was thinking that Rain is too naive and doesn't know how to control the people. The protagonist said that they all pretended that they are poor and weren't willing to make any donations, but he knows that everyone invested in the casinos, so he is going to give them one last chance. Give up on the casinos, or he will make them give up on them. Adrian stated that if the Grand Duke hears about his son's actions, he won't just forgive him for breaking the law. The protagonist then stated that if they want to talk about the law, then that's great, and ordered his soldiers to detain everyone so he can talk about law with them. The soldiers also brought 2 men who were restrained. Adrian was wondering why those 2 were here. They usually are with Vaserlo. The protagonist asked Adrian if he recognizes these 2 men. He answered that he never saw them before and asked what is the meaning of this. Rain answered that it's not a big deal. There is no reason to be alarmed. These 2 only tried to assassinate him. Also, they said that their power in Ashling City is enough to obscure the sky with, and that someone high in the hierarchy has their back. Rain asked a soldier to untie them so they can see if anyone at the party recognizes them. The people at the banquet knew that they are Vaserlo's people, but they couldn't believe the fact that they tried to assassinate the protagonist. Adrian knew that if these 2 people will talk, they will ruin his entire family. So he grabbed a knife, and screaming that they dared attack the son of the Grand Duke, killed both of them in a couple of slashes. The people were horrified by the sight. They didn't expect Adrian to go that far. The head of the Eldrin family then apologized to Rain for acting like that in front of him, but he was overtaken by anger after hearing about the assassination attempt. The protagonist answered that Adrian has a great sense of justice and is truly a great noble. Then, he ordered his soldiers to bring the main culprit so they can see if there are other excellent nobles like Adrian. The other culprit was Vaserlo, who was screaming to be let go. Otherwise he will tell this to his father, who is the greatest in Ashling, and everyone will be killed by him. Adrian realized that he couldn't find his son because he was captured. Vasurlo continued saying that he will kill Rain for killing his servants. Even better, he will torture him until he wishes that he was dead. The protagonist asked if he doesn't just want to kill him, but also torture him. Vasurlo answered that yes, that's exactly what he said. No one that stood against him survived. The protagonist congratulated him for being this brave. It's the first time he met someone like him. He then asked Adrian what he thinks about this, and Vasurlo finally noticed his dad. He then started laughing and said that now he is truly dead because his dad is actually. And then it was interrupted by Adrian, screaming at him to shut up and kneel. Vasurlo was confused. What is happening? Adrian forced his son to the ground and ordered him to kneel right this moment. He then told Rain that his son is young and stupid, and he is willing to give him everything just to spare him. Vasurlo remembered that his father told him that the son of the Grand Duke will arrive in Ashling, and his duty will be to befriend him, and asked the protagonist if he is the son of the Grand Duke. Rain answered that yes, why else would he have so many troops? Vasurlo then apologized and begged to spared, because he won't do something like this again. Adrian was also begging. He wanted an opportunity for the Eldrin family to prove itself. He pledged the lives of his entire family to Rain. The protagonist answered that he will spare their lives if he hands over everything he earned illegally over the years. Adrian thanked Rain, while thinking that now he is saved, but to prove his loyalty, he needs to inform him about the city's lord corruption. So, he said that he has something to report. The city lord, Eldrick, has contacted exterior forces in an attempt to betray the Grand Duke. The people were surprised to hear that the lord of the city wants to rebel. Rain said that he was willing to spare Adrian, but he is talking ill about someone else's loyalty, then ordered the soldiers to execute the Eldrin family. That shocked Adrian. He is only trying to prove his loyalty. Eldrick was thinking that everything is as his master said. Rain is not only stupid, but also impulsive. Then said that Master Rain is smart, and his actions are very appreciated. He is completely loyal to the Grand Duke, and has no plans to rebel. The protagonist said that there is no reason to worry, and looking at the city's lord profile, continued saying that he believes the fact that he will not betray him. Thank you for watching the first part of the series. Forging an industrial empire in a magical world. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and also let me know in the comments if you would like me to cover more series or just concentrate on the ones that I already made videos about. Goodbye.